Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. If you've been following, as I always say, if you've been following the videos, you know we were looking at the possibility of buying a new truck. We had a very quick lesson when we were out in the form of the price, which was anything from 1.8 million pesos to 2.1 million pesos, and that was a very quick lesson, and we learned we were willing students. So we spent some money on the Big Blue. The Big Blue is now running, touch wood, it's running beautifully. I thought I'd take you a little walk around the Blue so that you see that it's not such a sacrifice. It really is a lovely truck. But first of all, I'm going to pull it out of the our overhang. Let's call it a carport. Now I'm not driving now, okay? I'm just going to pull the vehicle out. See if I can avoid running over a dog or two. Okay, well, I think time to turn everything off. Put the emergency brake on. And in gear. And get out and show you what we're talking about. Well, we still have some work to do, as you'll see, and I'll describe as we go along. As somebody very rightly said, our Big Blue and our Little Red go through an amazing amount of punishment, much more than you would expect for any ordinary truck in ordinary use, unless of course it was at the hands of employees in a construction company. Now those tires, as you can see, they just load up with mud, unlike the back tires, which are off-road. And we have to, actually what happened was when we went in to change the tires, they didn't have them, and they had these quite cheap for us, quite cheap sort of road tires that had quite a bit of thread on them, so not used, that new, but just not for off-roading, but they were half the price, so we decided that we would go along with that. I'm just looking at something really unusual. That's the cable that feeds the power to the house. I'm just wondering why it suddenly started jangling like a guitar string. Well, no immediate explanation for that. Anyway, on with what we were talking about. So we bought two of those tires. They were no good certainly for the, no, not now, darling, you have to go somewhere else. Okay, you go away now, go west. So we bought those two tires, two for the price of one of these, which we had to replace. So here's the picture of the best side of the Blue. It actually is a really nice truck. It's very, very comfortable, and it's a real pleasure to drive. Let me show you. Let's show you all the good stuff first. It's actually got a very nice interior. It's electric windows. It's not an electric seat, but it is all leather and very well turned out. Has a nice stereo in there. Has AC. It has, if you can see up there, some kind of I think something like a GPS which hooks up to the phone. Not quite sure. All the usual things here, which are rather nice. It's got a little little extra doodad for putting your sunglasses in. Adjustable steering. It's a manual. It's a 5-speed manual with 4-wheel drive, and this is for the transfer case, and it has, this is obviously, this is normal, and then you push over and that goes into a neutral, and then you've got the next, well, I need to be using the clutch and I'm not, so that's where it's slipping into neutral, obviously, easily. That's normal, and then over to the far side is low, and then coming back is the medium gear. So you can see that this is a surplus truck, and this is not standard. This has all been done from the surplus factory. They get these vehicles, and then I think they come over in parts, in bits, and then they put them together. But this is not it's not a right-hand drive converted to left-hand, so everything is correct. The windshield wipers go to the correct place, because the driver needs the whole screen up. Now on the others, on the little red and even the blue bus, the wipers are over here, and so they come up to here, which is good for the passenger but not good for the driver. You get these huge rear view mirrors, big lamps. We had this one had to be replaced. As you can see, it's nice and new. That had to be replaced. We've got some damage. Various parts. It's been highly punished on that road, because the road is off-road and it is a punisher. So we've had scrapes and dents. What happens is that the way that the grader has come in and done the road, he's done it looking like this. A little bit like that. Now everybody says that's how it's supposed to be, but if you've got this camber thing and then you've got a ditch, and they all say you should have a ditch on either side like this, right, and that handles the drain off of the water. The only way that this comes unstuck is that when you're driving along and you lose traction, which you do in this greasy kind of clay, you'll slide off. Or you don't want to be sliding off this side in our case, because that goes off into the rice field, roly-poly, and you know, maybe some severe penalties. Over onto this side would take you down into a ditch, which has a build-up on this side where we've taken the hill out. So there's a wall. There'll be a wall there that's anything from 3 foot to, as you can see, 5 feet. Now when we have lost traction and we've slid off into that ditch and tried to drive out of it, it hasn't worked. So that's when you get this kind of damage. Have to have a new mirror. You get it scraping along the edge there. It's a terrible sound. It sounds like a million cash registers going off, which means that all of this is going to have to be replaced. It's going to have to be repaired. So there's a hookup for people getting into the back, which they often do. Even these seats have come in for, hey,